Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 24th episode of our weekly cyber threat intelligence briefing. Today is November 6th, which is National Nachos Day. Now, don't know if many of you know this, but a little known fact about the name nachos, how it received its name in one evening in 1943. The kitchen staff had left the restaurant. A group of Army wives stationed at Fort Duncan, Eagle Pass, Texas, came into this restaurant. They were hungry. Kitchen was closed. They asked for a snack. The maitre d' went back and forth, but then he prepared them cut tortillas, covered them in cheese and jalapenos, and heated up in the oven. They loved it, as we all love nachos. And they were told that the snack was called Nacho Special. So there's a little known fact for today. You could take that and share that as you will. So in today's briefing, we'll be covering the most recent trends that our threat intelligence team is witnessing in the trenches. My name is Keith Wojciech, Global Head of Threat Intelligence. This week, we are joined by Vice President Sarah Becker, Senior Associate Ryan Hicks, and Analyst Avery Hellwig from our Cyber Threat Intelligence team. So let's talk quickly about some news you can use for November 6th. So the CVE 2023-46747 is a vulnerability affecting F5 Big IP products that was covered in the October 30th briefing. This is actively being exploited in the wild following the release of a proof of concept that was published. F5 has updated their initial advisory with evidence of the exploitation. So the ESET is reporting a drop in activity relating to the Mozzie botnet, where an unknown actor appears to have triggered a kill switch to stop the automated spread of the IoT worm. As you guys see here, if you have any questions, please let us know. So today we're going to cover a couple different things. We're going to talk about the Cisco iOS XE POC. Then we're going to get into the NuGet repository distributing SEROXEN rat, and the REDLINE deployed through the SEO poisoning. And then Avery's going to talk about a critical Confluence vulnerability. And then finally, we're going to go and talk to Sarah about some ransomware roundup. So from there, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan, and let us know what you're talking about or seeing about this week in the trenches for Cisco. Ryan?
Thanks, Keith. Hi, everyone. So sort of to continue our string of updates that we've provided in the last few weeks for CV 2023-20198, which is the vulnerability affecting Cisco iOS XE. So first kind of update really is last week a public proof of concept was released by Horizon 3 as part of a short technical write-up. And the exploit itself takes advantage of how Cisco appliance passes the API endpoint path. Essentially encoding the endpoint name and bypasses the Nginx matches and allows the attacker to reach the Cisco WSMA service. You can see that on the bottom left-hand side there. It would normally be WebUI underscore WSMA, where they've kind of encoded it to sort of bypass the matches, sort of as simple as that, really. And as part of the post request, the attacker provides the account name, password, and access level required to create the new account. I've sort of cut the POC in half, really, just to show the main important bits. But the screenshot on the right hand side just shows the actor basically providing the information of what they want to achieve. So them adding the user account that has been seen, of course, very widespread. The next update for this vulnerability is that a small amount of additional post-exploitation activity has been observed on some honeypot devices, which are mainly Cisco discovery commands, and that's shown. Those are shown in the second bullet point down there, suggesting that the threat actors attempting to understand which environments have had the implant installed. So sort of the show IP DNS view, show IP name servers. It's still kind of only sort of poking around, as it were, and it's still unclear what the actors' objectives are at this time for the compromises of these devices. Next update was Cisco released an update to its original advisory, basically adding some more updates for some older versions of software. So do check those out in the advisory for any updates that Cisco push out. And lastly, on this vulnerability is that some threat actor infrastructure appears to be mimicking an FTP application called Very Secure FTP Daemon. Quite a small number of IPs, 24 in fact, have the HTML hash identified for this mimic service. Therefore, we've been able to collect quite a few more IOCs from this campaign, whereas initially there was only a few IP addresses known. We've got kind of growing number of IP addresses for this campaign and threat actor activity surrounding this vulnerability, which are going into the crawl MISP feed, and we'll continue to kind of monitor for any changes and additions to those IOCs. So next up is NuGet repository. So that repository is being targeted with malicious packages to distribute SEROXEN rats, a derivative of Quasar rat previously reported on. This activity is akin to our previous reporting, where we've sort of touched on typo squatting for or targeting the Python package repository. NuGet itself is a heavily used in Visual Studio, which in turn sees quite a lot of deployment inside enterprise Windows networks. And as we've mentioned with open source repository attacks, this particular campaign again uses typo squatting in order to trick the users into downloading and installing the threat actors packages as opposed to the legitimate package. And the threat actor involved in the campaign also artificially inflated the malicious packages on the repository to further add appearance that they were legitimate compared to the real ones. You see in the table there just some examples of some of the malicious packages on the left when you compare them to the legitimate names. So in some cases, just adding a dot in between some of the words it is sometimes could be enough for someone to click and download that package. And across the campaigns, there were two main techniques for code execution. And the first was using PowerShell scripts within the malicious packages. They were initialized when the package was run, and this led to the download, the actual SEROXEN executable, and executing it as a new process on the victim device. And the second technique that was used, which is a little bit more hidden, as it was within a legitimate XML file that would normally run. So you kind of have to really go looking for within the config of the package rather than an actual script sitting there. And the attacker here has added a code block into the file that ultimately provides the same functionality as before. So it first it downloads the particular binary for SEROXEN and then starts it as a new process, as it's sort of highlighted there. So for these continued sort of threats, we keep kind of reporting on the kind of different repositories being targeted. Really recommend utilizing a supply chain management process to maintain and validate sort of local mirrored repositories of packages used commonly within sort of your development teams across the organization. And just lastly for me, so we have last week we kind of observed a surge really of cases where users are downloading PDF converter software and bundled in with REDLINE stealer. And all victims that we observed downloaded the file from the same site, which is shown on the right. Therefore, it appears to be a form of SEO poisoning that likely caused the domain itself to appear at the top of search results. The malicious file downloaded from the site had quite a low detection rate, as you see on the screenshot at the bottom there, which was captured late last week. So likely to execute on quite a wide range of systems. And that really raises the risk of users inadvertently deploying REDLINE or potentially other malware families into the environment from searching for sort of PDF converters or other sort of software. And REDLINE itself has functionality to steal a wide variety of data, including credentials, chat messages, passwords, and crypto wallets. But it also has the potential to download additional payloads, and that really increases the potential impact caused by just sort of trying to download the PDF converter. Potentially, REDLINE could be used to download other kind of malware families, including ransomware. And the main recommendation here really is to we recommend requiring all installs to be performed by IT teams or from a vetted repository of binaries, as well as user education, of course, on the dangers of seeking unknown software packages that haven't been verified. And that is all from me. I'll hand back to Keith.
Thanks, Ryan. Really appreciate it. And so If you, like many others, use Confluence to collaborate your knowledge base, Avery does have an update for you. So Avery, I'm going to turn it to you to talk about the critical vulnerability.
All right. Good morning. Today we're going to be talking about CVE 2023 22518. It does have a CVSS score of 9.1, which is critical. There are no reports of an active exploit. It applies to all Confluence data center and server versions. And basically on October 31, 2023, the developers of Confluence released information on a critical vulnerability, the one I've just mentioned, after discovering the vulnerability in the Confluence server and data center. They released a statement stating that they have observed publicly posted critical information pertaining to the vulnerability that could increase the risk of active exploitation. The vulnerability does have the potential, if exploited, to result in data loss. However, there are no current reports of active exploitation. They have urged all customers to take immediate action to protect their instances. This includes patching affected installations and ensuring instances are backed up. Fixed versions include 7.19.16 or later, 8.3.4 and later, 8.4.4 or later, 8.5.3 or later, and also 8.6.1 or later. Cloud instances are not impacted by this vulnerability, and instances not exposed to the public internet have a reduced attack surface. There has been an exploit code allegedly posted online to GitHub. Therefore, if true, exploitation in the wild is likely to follow against unpatched systems. We do recommend immediately patching each affected installation to one of the fixed versions. And if patching is unavailable, apply temporary mitigations, such as ensuring the instances are backed up and removing them from the internet until there's the ability to patch. Back to you, Keith.
Thank you very much, Avery. I appreciate it. Now, let's grab our hobby horse and trot over to Sarah's corner to talk about some ransomware roundup. Sarah?
Thank you, Keith. To begin our roundup this week, the third annual International Counter Ransomware Initiative Summit was recently held in Washington, D.C. The summit hosted around over 40 countries, and they wanted them to kind of come together to sign a pledge to stop paying threat actor ransoms. This is kind of a way of a deterrent. While representatives of at least 48 countries were attending, the European Union and Interpol as well. Not all have confirmed to sign this pledge. We are monitoring the situation just to see what may come of this. Strategies and discussions from the summit will also focus on blocking funds that are going to threat actors or are being utilized by threat actors to finance these operations in hope of another way of stopping this. The White House's Deputy National Security Advisor for Cyber and Emerging Technology, Ann Neuberger, stated the following to news reporters when asked about this summit and ongoing ransomware issues. She said, ransomware is an issue that knows no borders, and as long as there's money flowing to ransomware criminals, the problem will continue to grow. This summit was first established in October 2021, and it's just trying to bring awareness and efforts towards disrupting ransomware groups since all of these attacks have increased. And then our next story is a newer group that was established in August 2023, Ransom VC. They are now for sale. They posted on October 30th on their data leak site that they are for sale and they don't want to be monitored by federal agencies, and they prefer a buyer who will continue this project. The post also advertised a whole bunch of things that they're selling because they said they're selling everything. So within this advertisement, they're listing various domains and forums, the ransomware builder, access to affiliate groups, social media profiles for the group, Telegram profiles and channels that the group utilizes, VPN access to multiple companies, as well as databases worth over 10 million each. And then they're saying there's still more that they have. They're also saying that whoever is an interested buyer to contact ransom support Telegram channel to kind of discuss negotiations. So also on that same date of October 30th, Ransomed VC posted to one of their Telegram channels that they are now selling the operation due to personal reasons. So while on the data leak site, they were stating that they don't want to deal with law enforcement or being monitored by law enforcement. On Telegram, they're saying it's due to personal reasons. Within that Telegram channel, they said, I do not want to continue running the project due to personal reasons. None will be disclosed to journalists. Don't even ask. We are selling everything. So there are speculations surrounding the reason for the sale, since the group is a newer group, saying it could be pressure from law enforcement to either seize operations, or there might be a possibility of the group starting a bigger and better ransomware operation. So as of now, the post is still available. So it's unknown if they've found a buyer at this time. And that is all for me for the Ransomware Roundup, Keith.
Thanks, Sarah. And also just to kind of go back on one thing Sarah said, we're going to keep an active watch out for the payments and how that's going to fold for the 40 countries kind of getting together and see what's going on. So stay tuned for that. We'll continue to watch and monitor and let everyone know and update as we find more. So a big thank you to everybody that's taken the time to tune into Kroll's threat intelligence briefing. We hope you found this session informative. If you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to contact the team at cti@kroll.com. That's cti@kroll.com. Again, thank you very much. Have a wonderful week, and a special thank you to Ryan, Avery, and Sarah. Take care.